Good evening. My name is Sanganai Sansole, and you're watching Wednesday's edition of Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime, channel 294 on DSTV. These are your headlines. President Emmerson Mnangagwa today officially opened the Sanganai World Tourism Expo in Mutare today, signaling Zimbabwe's intent to position itself as a premier tourism destination. We will give you the latest on investigations on a fire which gutted a building in Harare Central Business District this morning, leaving traders and punters counting serious losses. Newsplus will look at preparation for the 2025 to 2026 summer cropping season, with farmers saying they will draw a lot of lessons from the long dry spells which were experienced last season. And in sport, stay tuned for Warriors coach Michael Nee's report card. A closer look at the stories making the headlines this evening. Now, before we give you our main story on the opening of the Sanganai Expo that was officially opened by President Mnangagwa, we will give you a story on farming. Farmers say lessons from the 2024-25 prolonged dry spells should guide them this farming season. This comes following reports of an almost similar farming season expected this year.
Water harvesting, climate-smart farming, and early risk management will be key going into the season, and timing will be of utmost importance. This, added to continuous liaison with the weathermen, will be their compass as they make the 2025-26 farming season farming preparations.
We would advise our farmers to follow advice that comes from their the agricultural experts, extension guys in the field, but also to look for weather information, location-specific weather information, and also any other information that can help them to know when to plant and when to manage, how to manage their crops, and when to do whatever it is that they would need to do.
The 2024-25 summer season left some farmers counting their losses. Many lost crops to a prolonged dry spell due to shifting weather patterns. Now, on Tuesday, the cabinet warned that the 2025-26 summer cropping season will most likely look like the last season.
Accordingly, the nation is advised that the 2025-2026 rainfall season will be largely similar to the 2024-2025 season. A delayed erratic start with initial dry conditions in October to November is expected, particularly in the northern provinces.
The forecast points to a delayed and erratic start. The northern province might face long dry spells in October and November, while the south and western parts may see normal to above normal rains early on. The Met Department says they are tracking these shifts and will be providing a high alert monthly updates, daily forecasts, and 10-day bulletins.
We still advise farmers to prepare their fields where possible. They can plant with the little rain that they'll receive, but also ensure that they have got adequate irrigation to carry the planted crops through to the rainfall that is expected in December. So please keep advised. We'll keep monitoring and keep you advised with the daily alerts as well as the weekly updates.
The Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, however, says the outlook is not all bleak. Despite the late start, Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development Minister Dr. Anxious Masuka believes it might be a good season at the end of it all.
In terms of climate advisory, that there will be a somewhat erratic start and a slow start to the rainfall season, expecting to start end of October into November crops. But I'm excited that this season is actually panning out. It's going to be a good season.
Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Faith Nyaude in Harare.
Now, Zimbabwe is aggressively courting international investors for its lucrative mining sector, which is rich in lithium, platinum, gold, and other minerals. Energy Minister July Moyo and Mines Minister Winston Chitando were recently in Perth, Australia, leading the push and highlighting opportunities in strategic minerals that are critical to global tech and energy transitions.
Zimbabwe has been fast-tracking regulatory reforms in the mining sector to attract foreign direct investment. The sector contributes about 12% to GDP and nearly 70% of export earnings. The Chamber of Mines projects output to rise to $6.5 billion this year, up from $6.2 billion in 2024. To drive this growth, the Mines Ministry showcases Zimbabwe's potential to global investors who could bring in crucial capital.
Zimbabwe tried and tested destination. We have seen, and I indicated yesterday, we have, if we classify our the minerals we have, we hold critical minerals, we hold significant areas where we have mineralization of gold and PGMs. Also, we do have a number of areas with base metals.
With rising global demand for these minerals, Zimbabwe sees potential for economic growth and job creation through strategic partnerships.
We have seen and we are witnessing a number of investors who are coming into the country to take advantage of the critical minerals which we have, take advantage of the high prices of gold, and also to take positions in areas where there is potential mineralization of some of the base metals, which include nickel and copper.
Mining is an energy-intensive sector. The Ministry of Energy is creating an enabling environment for investors to partner with Zimbabwe in unlocking mineral wealth for mutual benefit.
Our pension schemes, private sector pension schemes, as well as public pension schemes, they came up with an investment portfolio and they invested in Tiripi. They are now investing 15 megawatts in another dam, and we are also saying all our dams can have co-generation. It can be one megawatt or less, but let's invest in all these renewable energies.
With the right strategies, Zimbabwe is positioned to become a key player in global supply chains for strategic minerals. With rising global demand for these minerals, Zimbabwe sees potential for economic growth and job creation.
That was an update on what's happening in the mining sector, but still to come on Newsplus, Sanganai Tourism Expo opens new avenues.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just really spoilt.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika where you are sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo afro chakuti ndo music manje yemuZimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutauri muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe. Ndiwo rupawo rwako. Ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J.
Put your seatbelt on.
The Phoenix Podcast has always brought you the best of the best.
I missed on that blessing, but I also regained it in some way.
In seasons 1 and 2, we introduced you to the industry's brightest stars, the ones at the top of their game, the creme de la creme. But season 3 promises to be even more exciting. We're bringing you even more fascinating guests, including the renowned farmer, Patrick Matadi. And to top it all off, our very own host, Ken Sharp, will be stepping out of the interviewer's chair and into the hot seat as he gets interviewed by a surprise guest host.
From the boss, we've been beaten, but we're not beaten yet. We can still rise.
Konapo Konapo, Ipapo Ipapo, ZTN Prime, DSTV Channel 294, the place to be.
Thank you very much for staying tuned to Newsplus this Wednesday evening. We now give you our top story. The 2025 Sanganai Hlanganani Kumbanai World Tourism Expo has opened in Mutare, marking the first time in nearly 2 decades. Now, with 450 exhibitors, 23 international buyers, and over 5,000 stakeholders in attendance, the expo is showcasing Zimbabwe's tourism potential to the world. The government is targeting $5 billion in earnings by 2030, with Manicaland's landscape now taking center stage as Zimbabwe builds its brand as a top-tier global destination.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa began his tour of the 2025 Sanganai Hlanganani World Tourism Expo in Mutare with a visit to exhibition stands showcasing over 450 local and international players. Among the highlights was the official Indonesian stand, where he engaged exhibitors on strengthening bilateral tourism ties. From there, His Excellency proceeded to address a gathering of more than 5,000 stakeholders, officially declaring the 3-day tourism showcase open. This year marks a historic shift for the Sanganai Hlanganani Expo. For the first time in 18 years, the flagship tourism event is being hosted outside Bulawayo, with the Mutare taking center stage as Zimbabwe positions Manicaland as a rising tourism hub. This week, the Eastern Highlands is painting a new picture, not just of rolling hills and breathtaking views, but of energy, culture, and business.
The beauty in Zimbabwe is not limited only to our lives, to heritage, to cultural richness, but also to our women. We are the most beautiful women in Southern Africa. Tourism in Zimbabwe drives economic growth, fosters local enterprise development, empowers communities, and promotes conservation efforts. Our national strategy focuses on transforming these opportunities to tangible benefits.
Tourism's footprint in Zimbabwe continues to expand, now contributing 12% to GDP, accounting for 15% of the country's economic growth last year. The 2025 edition of the Expo has attracted 450 exhibitors and 23 international buyers, showcasing Zimbabwe's diverse offerings from natural wonders and cultural heritage to investment opportunities to the global market.
Itineraries launched, investments secured, jobs created, and the stories shared long after the Expo ends. Let us therefore commit to tracking outcomes and building on the momentum generated here.
Government is targeting $5 billion in tourism earnings by 2030, underpinned by ongoing policy reforms aimed at transforming Zimbabwe into a top-tier destination both regionally and internationally. With about 5,000 stakeholders gathered in Mutare, the expo has drawn a strong mix of local operators, investors and international buyers. Organizers say the move to Mutare is a deliberate strategy to spread tourism benefits across provinces, with Manicaland's scenic mountains, waterfalls and cultural experiences now on full display. Zimbabwe's rise on the continental stage is also noteworthy. Ranked 6th among Africa's most visited countries in 2024, the nation welcomed 3 million arrivals, placing just behind Algeria's 3.5 million visitors.
About 23 countries who came to experience Zimbabwe, to witness what we have in Manicaland and go back home to their businesses and package Zimbabwe together with Manicaland. They are used, Your Excellency, to packaging Victoria Falls. And now we have shown them that Zimbabwe is not about Victoria Falls. We have a beautiful Manicaland province that has examples of agrotourism, beautiful Wonde Valley. I'm sure they've been there. Mutarazi Falls. Your Excellency, I'm happy to let you know, and all the guests in the room, to let you know that Zimbabwe has been accorded to Forbes and Kaikai Global Destination Rankings. Zimbabwe has claimed #1 position worldwide, sharing Africa's spotlight with Morocco.
From Victoria Falls to the Eastern Highlands, from rich wildlife to vibrant cultural heritage, Zimbabwe's story is being retold in Mutare, where the 2025 Sanganai Hlanganani Expo marks the dawn of a new era in the country's tourism journey.
Now, Zimbabwe's biggest tourism showcase has already started receiving positive reviews from exhibitors who say the platform has started to create business for them. And over 400 exhibitors are meeting in Mutare for the 4-day expo.
The 4-day expo has brought the city of Mutare to life. The awakened Eastern Highlands harbors some of the most eye-catching displays and experiences. For those attending, it is a chance to travel the world without leaving Manicaland. 9,000 kilometers from home is a first-time exhibitor from Indonesia, having traveled from across the world to bring a slice of Bali to Mutare. They say they are keen to introduce its tourism treasures to the Zimbabwean market.
We love it so much, and we are promoting Indonesian promotion like tourist destination like Bali and also Jakarta, the capital city. The Bali, we have so many beaches and mountains as well. So many Zimbabweans also go to Bali.
Regional Player says it's more than just a showcase. It's an opportunity to share Africa's wonders. For them, the expo has started on a high and are eagerly awaiting to see how the rest of the week will unfold.
We are here at Sanganai and we are loving it. Today is the starting, but so far we are loving it. It's beautiful and scenic and landscape here, and people are so welcoming. And yeah, we'd love to do it again next year.
For local operators like the National Railways of Zimbabwe, the show put the trains back on the tracks, quite literally. For them, the expo saw the reintroduction of a luxury passenger train in 128 years. However, it is more than just the movement on the tracks that is exciting them. NRZ says the platform has opened new avenues of business.
Safari trains which go to our tourist destinations. We run them on our own, and we also have concessions to private players that operate on our railway lines that lead to attractive tourist destinations like Mutare and like Rusape, like Victoria Falls and
And the networking with international buyers is forging new business partnerships that will boost the country's tourism industry. This year's expo is being held under the theme, Devolving Sustainable Tourism Development, Our Future. The 4-day expo is said to be a critical platform for networking, deal-making, and showcasing Zimbabwe's vast tourism potential to the world.
That was a story on the Sanganai Hlanganani Tourism Expo, which was officially opened by President Mnangagwa in Mutare today. Now, in other news, shock and despair gripped Harare's central business district early this morning when a fire broke out, leaving traders and punters counting serious losses. Our correspondent Talent Gore was at the scene of the fire earlier today.
This building at the corner of Speak Avenue and Chinoy Street was gutted by fire early Wednesday morning, destroying goods worth thousands of dollars, leaving business owners counting their losses.
The blaze, which reportedly started around 1 a.m., completely destroyed a building housing multiple businesses, including a popular betting company. The ground floor, partitioned into several clothing shops, lost all its stock, while a hair salon and a pool hall were also reduced to ashes. Shop employees and security personnel who were on duty when the fire started say the inferno began on the ground floor but could not ascertain what started the fire.
Worth almost 20,000, but now pa zero now because mnongozata ichiti pamwe kumashop kune masafe ane chizve safe, but so far hapana chatakwanisa kurikava kunze kwematsito vanhu vatangozowana amata kwasatry kurikava kuti tione kuti pane chasara here.
Vatibatsiro tiwanewo pekutangira. Value yezvinhu zvatati tichitengesa hembe neboots dzatati tinadzo, it was approximately kuma 30,000. Saka tarasikirwa zvikuru. Zvimwe zvachona hatichatozivi kuti tingazvicomputa to what figure, but chikumbiro chedu ndechekuti anything chinotibatsira kuti titangire ipapo tichienda mberi.
Ndarwadziwawo neshopu yesista yangu yatsva hembe dzese. Ndofunga tatine staff yakawandisa, hapana kana chasara. As
has been the case on most fire incidents, some blames the damage to a late response by the fire brigade.
Our fire brigade, at times, I think they need actually proper administration and management to see where they can actually keep the water when anything happens like this. I think this could avoided when the fire brigade on its own has just reacted in time.
This latest blaze highlights a worrying trend in the capital where fire incidents are now becoming a trend. Recently, Harare City Chief Fire Officer Lavmo Mafukidze said the increasing presence of informal traders inside buildings heightens the fire risk, transforming once orderly spaces into potential death traps when a blaze occurs.
And when you are dealing with fires, you will then have a problem where you have got aerosols. Someone is selling perfumes, those are explosive. Someone is selling the artificial hair, that is highly flammable, and it is very difficult to know exactly what is burning inside those buildings. And the fire load has increased because there is now a lot of wares in a building that used to be to conduct one straightforward business.
The city of Harare says investigations into the cause of the fire are underway. With the recurring fire incidents, the issue of insurance and small-scale businesses continue to take center stage. Experts are urging business owners to review their safety and introduce insurance on their businesses.
I think with the prevalence of aspects such as fire that has been ravaging the market, it's now necessary for there to be more awareness, advertising, and most importantly, insurance packages that accommodate the informal market. They are price sensitive, so there's need for aspects like microinsurance, which is less costly but more beneficial, and also risk pooling that is more efficient in terms of its ability to capture the market better.
As investigations continue as to what really caused the fire, those affected are left with the difficult task of rebuilding their lives and livelihoods. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Talent Gore in Harare CBD.
Still on our local stories, authorities will soon clamp down on unlicensed fridge and air conditioning technicians that are operating without certification. The move enforces Statutory Instrument 49 of 2023, which prohibits such practices as part of efforts to phase out dangerous gases that are costly and energy and harmful to the ozone layer. Now, the announcement was made at a media and consumer workshop in Kadoma aimed at promoting the use of energy efficient appliances. Our correspondent Sharon Munjenjema has more details.
Just like journalism and many other professions, the refrigeration and air conditioning sector has for years been plagued by imposters posing as qualified technicians. Zimbabwean authorities are now moving to clamp down on such individuals through Statutory Instrument 49 of 2023. The regulation seeks to phase down the use of appliances that rely on dangerous gases, which not only degrade the ozone layer, but also drive up energy costs. National Ozone Unit Project Manager George Chawumba warned that, just as in other professions, allowing imposters to operate carries serious consequences.
These appliances also consume it because of bad practices. If these appliances have leaks, leaking refrigerators and air conditioning leads to inefficiency and thereby consuming a lot of electricity. So what we have done as a ministry is we promulgated SI 49 of 2023.
Statutory Instrument 49 of 2023 is in line with international agreements such as the Montreal Protocol, to which Zimbabwe is a signatory. Although the regulation was promulgated 2 years ago, enforcement is being intensified now after authorities completed engagements with relevant sectors to raise awareness of its purpose. The Consumer Protection Commission notes that ignorance still exists among ordinary consumers and says more public awareness campaigns are underway.
So after this engagement, tikutarisira kuti tichanoita more education and awareness on the refrigeration and air conditioning appliances.
Consumers of refrigeration and air conditioning appliances also took part in the workshop here in Kadoma. Gloria Mandoreba, who runs a chicken hatchery business in Shishavane, welcomed the enforcement of Statutory Instrument 49 of 2023. She said she has incurred costly losses after unqualified personnel attempted to fix her air conditioners.
Maibuda gaso zvisingaiti tikazotsvaga umwe futi saka ma-expenses achona aibva posta manje kuti aiamounta kubusiness zvichiaffecta business kuti because pese paunenge uchiita business unenge uchitarisa kuita ma-profits but kana ma-expenses akazowanda manje because patakazodana mumwe wechi2 we had to pay for the gas rachona and gas rachona a bit expensive kudarika the LP gas ratinoshandisa pakubika saka ndiyo imwe expense yandakaita.
Dubious refrigeration technicians are often known to deliberately cause gas leaks or leaving them poorly fixed so that consumers keep calling them back. Many also lack knowledge of the correct gases required to refill appliances. At the Kadoma workshop, consumers were further warned to buy appliances that match the size of their families to avoid unnecessary energy costs.
Uye kana firiji yafa tinofana kundogadzirwa nevanhu vanenge vane zvitambi zvekuratidza kuti vanogadzira mafiriji because ukaenda kwakachipa kuya zvinozokuriska kuti inogona kutondowedzerwa kutofa zvokuti zvinozongopedzisira zvakukostira.
Zimbabwe has also moved to ban the importation of refrigeration and air conditioning appliances that use phased-out gases. Authorities say the measures are not only about protecting consumers, but also about fighting climate change, reducing the risk of skin cancers linked to ozone depletion, and promoting greater energy efficiency. Sharon Munjenjema for ZTN News in Kadoma.
Now, in other news, the Southern African Development Community SADC Secretariat, in partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization, is hosting a 3-day hand-to-hand initiative in Harare that's aimed at building a partnership between the private and public sector in investing in agriculture. And speaking on the sidelines of the event, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Anxious Masuka, said the goal of the initiative resonates well with Zimbabwe's quest of being a prosperous and upper-middle-class society that's anchored on agriculture.
The Hand-in-Hand initiative is being implemented in 83 countries throughout the world. Zimbabwe was one of the countries in Africa that was selected for a pilot, and we got some financing from the UAE and $350,000 US. We now have $20 million from AFDB under that initiative. So it is Zimbabwe as the chairman of SADC, but then as the sector chair, where we had shown so much progress that this regional Hand-in-Hand initiative was organized to be able to build on this success and focusing on what resonates with Zimbabwe's transformation of the agricultural sector, the 4 areas that they are looking at of climate smart irrigation development. This we are already doing. They are looking at value addition and beneficiation and agro-industrialization. And this we are already doing in terms of village business units and Pfumvudza. They are also looking at mechanization. And this we are doing at a very massive scale.
Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization Sub-Regional Coordinator for Southern Africa, Dr. Patrice Tala Takukam, echoed similar sentiments, saying that they have identified 3 key investment opportunities that entail irrigation, climate-smart agriculture and trade. Dr. Takukam said that they have formulated the 10 provincial agriculture investment cases here in Zimbabwe, which are aimed at promoting food security and sustainable agriculture.
Where we have identified 3 areas for investment. The first one is on irrigation, climate smart agriculture, the trade, and because with the trade we want to support the countries in Southern Africa in the implementation of the Africa Free Trade Area by strengthening and improving the productivity of agriculture sector, but especially to open the agriculture sector to market, both the regional market. We have formulated 10 provincial agriculture investment cases. So each of the provinces in Zimbabwe have their own agriculture investment, where we have identified the key priorities for each region. And also we have support the countries to have the national agriculture investment plan, but also through the formulation and the renewal of the food system transformation strategy. So FAO as the technical assistance institutions, so we support the government through the formation of the policy.
Newsplus will be right back, and we'll give you a story on how Zimbabwe is intensifying the HIV response in the mining communities.
Didn't graduate. I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoilt.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
That guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Karo mwana mnimambama mu studio. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika like where you are sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo afro chakuti ndo music manje no Zimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti Chindevere kana mumwe mutaure muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe. Ndiwo rupawo rwako. Ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
This is Newsplus coming to you live from Harare. Now, still on our local stories, Zimbabwe has intensified its HIV response interventions in mining communities in order to reduce HIV infections through working with community leaders. The Ministry of Health and Childcare, through its HIV response coordinator, the National AIDS Council, has stressed the importance of community leadership in ensuring communities focus on behavioral and biomedical prevention, such as increased condom use, awareness campaigns, HIV testing and counseling, and access to antiretroviral therapy and PrEP. In Midlands Province, government is cascading both behavioral and biomedical interventions in order to fast-track the End AIDS goal. We get more in the following report.
Artisanal miners like Takunda are considered a high-risk group in sub-Saharan Africa. In Zimbabwe, this group is equally vulnerable to HIV and tuberculosis. Despite behavioral change interventions, new infections remain high in this community. The legislator is joining this fight to end HIV and is preaching the gospel of adherence and accessing HIV services. Limited access to primary health service in this community worsens their vulnerability. The government is confident more awareness and health literacy will help reduce new infections.
Amongst the key drivers, you'd find to say since small-scale artisanal mining is the major socio-economic activity, we are recording quite a number of HIV new infections as well as STI new infections from the mining setups. Because where there is mining activities, there are quite a number of female sex workers, both from the district as well as from the neighboring.
Multi-sectoral interventions are critical in this fight. The Shuruge legislator believes bridging knowledge gaps and fighting stigma is of paramount importance.
As much as they want to satisfy their needs, kana kuzvifadza tikumbira kuti vanhu ngavaende kumadzimai avo, kana zvarema vombosevenza vodzokera kumba, kana zvaremesa ngavawanewo zvekuva protect. Kana vanhu vaona chavabata vawa kuti handisi kuwa zvakanaka, vasafungidzire vachitora miti yemigwavha nechii, ngavaende vanotarikwa.
While Zimbabwe has made remarkable progress in the HIV fight, ensuring all at-risk communities are part of this fight remains critical. The country cannot afford to ignore such vulnerable communities in its HIV fight. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Mirira Nsingo in Shurugwe.
Moving on to our global stories, more than 200 Rwandans have returned to their homeland, crossing La Corniche border post after years of displacement in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Now, the operation, facilitated by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, aims to help former dependents of the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda and other displaced Rwandans return safely to their communities.
When natokea Pinga Nkasa, kwenye ilikuwa ni maisha ya magumu sana, kuishi mpori, masasi, mvura kila siku. Cho nimeamua nikuwe kwetu, na ninaenda Ruhengeri.
In other global news, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has declared the inauguration of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam as the beginning of a new chapter in the nation's history. The Prime Minister outlined a series of ambitious projects, including the commissioning of a nuclear power plant for peaceful purposes and the expansion of Ethiopian Airlines with the aim of making it Africa's largest carrier.
ስለ አባይ በመናገር ስለ ህዳሴ በመናገር ስለ ንጋት በመናገር ጊዜ አናባክንም። ይሄኛው ፋይል ተዘግቷል። አሁን በሚቀጥሉት ጥቂት አመታት የሚሰሩ ዋና ስራዎች ከብዙዎቹ ጥቂቶቹን ለመላው ኢትዮጵያውያንና ለኢትዮጵያ ወዳጆች ለማብሰር እፈልጋለሁ። ኢትዮጵያ የህዳሴን ግድብ የሚተካከል ለሰላማዊ ዓላማ ብቻ የሚውል የኒውክሌር ፕላንት በቅርቡ ስራ ትጀምራለች።
Coming up on Newsplus, farmers welcome cuts on regulatory fees.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
It's time now to take a look at what's happening in the world of business. The government has reduced regulatory fees for livestock, dairy and stock feed farmers to ease the cost of doing business and boost agricultural productivity. Finance Minister Professor Mthuli Ncube announced the sweeping reforms earlier today. And you'll find that under the new measures, farm registration fees under the Agricultural Marketing Authority have been cut to just $1, while small and medium-scale farmers will no longer pay the farm registration certificate fee. Now, dairy processor registration has been reduced from $350 annually to a one-time $50 payment, while feed manufacturing registration has been slashed from as much as $250 to only $20. Now, livestock movement clearance fees also dropped sharply from $10 to $5 per beast, among other significant changes. Farmers welcomed these new measures.
So production costs have always been an issue. There we're talking about inputs and so on. But then the cost of compliance, which also goes into the cost of producing, was too high, and it also still remains too high in many other subsectors. That is very important to note and to commend the steps that have been taken by the Ministry of Finance to slash the regulatory fees that most of our farmers were actually struggling with. So it is very important for us as farmers to realize that these cries they've fallen on some open ears, and there's been a response, and that response has actually been a very, very commendable one. It's a real reduction, in some cases, scrapping of fees. This makes the ease of doing business a reality in most of our farming sectors. So for livestock, for dairy and stock feed manufacturers, it's a very bright day today. Everybody is smiling, and we hope we will continue to see a further reduction of these costs of compliance.
Zimbabwe and Algeria are fostering closer business ties by strengthening economic cooperation and identifying growth opportunities at the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025 that's currently being held in Algiers, Algeria. At the fair, over 25 Zimbabwean companies are exhibiting their goods and their services, showcasing potential for increased trade, investment and partnership with Algerian firms and the wider African continent. Now, Nicolette Makoni compiled the following report.
Zimtrade is confident that the Intra-African Trade Fair is a valuable opportunity to strengthen business ties with Algeria.
We're looking at it as an opportunity for us to do more business. And why Zimbabwe? We are a member of CONESA, SADC, African Member Free Trade Area, which we are also part of.
Industry leaders believe the partnership goes beyond trade deals, extending into knowledge exchange and capacity building.
But in all this, we need capacity building. It must be very clear that it's not just a question of us wanting Algeria to come and partner with us, bringing their equipment and setting up business, but we need capacity building.
Algeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs welcomed the initiative as the country is interested in developing stronger business links with Zimbabwe.
On behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Algeria, I reaffirm here our total commitment to working closely with the Republic of Zimbabwe and all stakeholders.
Private sector players are also seeing the benefits. With more than 25 business firms in attendance at a show that attracts more than 35,000 people, buyers say the fair has provided them with a unique opportunity to connect with suppliers across the continent.
And I am finding this opportunity as a great opportunity to make great connections, as a great opportunity to meet potential suppliers, as a great opportunity to seal some solid deals with people from all over Africa.
As Zimbabwe deepens its trade links with Algeria, the move is seen as a step towards market diversification, industrial growth, and greater participation in Africa's expanding intra-trade landscape.
Rainbow Tourism Group RTG plans to spend $1.6 million on capital investment projects at the iconic Rainbow Towers Hotel in the capital, Harare. Now, Zimbabwe Stock Exchange listed company RTG said $1.4 million United States dollars of the budget will be used to build a 1 megawatt solar plant, refurbish restaurants, upgrade the gym, and develop a wellness track. The solar plant is expected to enhance energy efficiency, cut energy costs, reduce reliance on non-renewable sources, and contribute to a more sustainable future. Now, the balance will be spent on sprucing up public areas and refurbishing the hotel's kitchens to a more welcoming atmosphere and improving functionality, among others. Part of the expenditure will also go towards enhancements, including an authentic traditional food restaurant and an extension of the coffee shop into manicured gardens. Newsplus will be right back with entertainment news.
Got some questions about Showmax? Well, we've got the answers. What is Showmax? Showmax is not a TV channel. It's a streaming service with tons of hit series, movies, and more. Plus, Premier League live on mobile. Just pick what you want and hit play. No schedule or airing times. With Showmax, you watch what you want, when you want, and where you want. For any other queries, find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok.
Jubilation filled the air as Zim dancehall artists Mogo Vibes and Lady D received residential stands in Donnybrook, Harare for their victories in the 2025 Harare Cup clash. Now, the prize-giving ceremony held today became a vibrant tribute to emerging talent, with Pastor Kudakwashe Jose of Victorious Generation International Church honoring his commitment to support the artists with shelter. He reiterated that the gesture is part of his fight against drug and substance abuse among the youth.
So we are so happy that my youth are tambira mastinza. So this is not just the end, it's just the beginning. I'm so happy because mastinza are chikumbiro. Chikuti message yedu igone kusvika kwavari. To say no to drugs, say yes to Jesus. Tinokudai tisingaite my youth. We love you so much. But my drugs, we want you to live it. We want you to live it. There is no hope in that. So this message at a sender, may it reach to everyone.
One of the winners, Mogo Vibes, was left speechless after being presented with the title deeds and urged fellow chanters and youth alike to shun drug abuse. Now, his fellow winner, Lady D, real name Diana Jonas, was overwhelmed with emotion as she received her title deeds.
Inini under normal circumstances ndogadzira ngoma dzangu zvisina dombo mukati zvisina
tinoti madzimai budai neuwandu hwenyu uye kuzojoinawo macup clash nekuti kwakwa tichita kuti imi muchiregai kupinda macup clash makawina kudhara inyaya yekutoti hakuna madzimai akawanda akuita izvi dai vanga varipo vangawanda taitosiyomuka aiwa ngavamboitawo.
All is set for the Zimbabwe Jazz Festival 2025 that's being held on the 13th of September at Alliance Francaise. Now, different musicians including Frank Salis from Switzerland, Alex Wasili, Mr. Changs, Max Covini, Teresa Muteta, Charles Mahlaba Banda from Bulawayo and Mbare Jazz will be performing.
Yes, hello, I'm Frank Salis and I come from Switzerland, the Italian part of Switzerland. It's why I drink a coffee.
Right now, I'm in Marondera, Zimbabwe.
Meeting different musicians, you know.
I'm having the time of my life. I'm surrounded by incredibly kind, passionate, respectful, and culturally diverse people.
Meeting them for the first time, having 2 rehearsals, and looking forward to do 5 different concerts. I'm so excited.
That's it for entertainment. Newsplus will be right back with sports news.
Welcome back, gospel music lovers, to another season of My Ultimate Gospel 10. Your ultimate destination for soul-stirring melodies and inspirational stories.
Might prepare me for a good day.
God is faithful because He's holy.
Wow, this is beautiful. Each week, they'll be revealing their top 10 gospel songs. Meet Miss Becky K, the dynamic and passionate new presenter for Season 3.
If you are ready, let's get into My Ultimate Gospel 10.
Premiering soon, only on ZTN Prime. Stay tuned and let the music uplift your soul.
The Warriors are out, dumped from the World Cup race with no wins. Now, Michael Nee's record stands at 2 victories in 12 games, and instead of accountability, supporters feel he sneers at Zimbabwe's dreams. Howard Musonza gives us a story of failure and contempt.
He came with bravado, selling himself as the man to turn Zimbabwe's football around. A year later, Michael Nees has left the Warriors out of the World Cup with just 2 wins in 12 matches, both against Mino's Namibia. When pressed about his failure, Nees didn't take responsibility. he reached for history books, twisting them into a shield.
Last World Cup campaign, in the group stage, you had 0 win. 2018, if I'm not mistaken, the coach was not paid. You had no win, no loss, because you were banned from the qualification. 2014, if I'm not mistaken, no win. I think 2008 you had 1 win against Namibia.
That has been his defense, drowning failure in numbers, belittling the past to excuse the present. But when it comes to ambition, his contempt has been even sharper. On the couch, Nees was asked if Zimbabwe could dare to dream of winning the Africa Cup of Nations. His response mocked the very idea.
Our objective is not to daydream everything and say we want this. I want a lot. We want to come to the second round and then we take it from match to match. We break our objectives down to smaller units and try to achieve them. The way you talk, you would achieve nothing in football, I'm sorry to say to you.
Where Zimbabweans see ambition, Nees sees daydreamers. Where a nation believes, its coach scoffs. Now, compare that to Ziva President Nqobile Magwizi, who sees Zimbabwe's future in far bolder terms.
I want Zimbabwe to win the World Cup. That's our ambition. I believe Zimbabwe can do that. But no, maybe it may be unrealistic to say we are winning the World Cup next year because we are not in there. But we must work towards a place where we become competitive enough to go to the World Cup. Competitive enough to challenge the powerful nations.
Zimbabweans dream of glory. Their leaders dream of glory. But their coach, Michael Nees, dismisses glory as daydreaming. His first year has given the Warriors no World Cup wins, just 2 victories against strugglers Namibia in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers in 12, and the bitter taste of failure. Reporting for Zimpaper's Sports Hub, I'm Howard Musonza in Harare.
That was a report on the Warriors coach Michael Nees. Now, still on sport, the CAF Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations COSAFA qualifiers 2026 kick off on Thursday with a double-header at Ngoni Stadium. Comoros and Eswatini will face off in the opening match of the tournament at midday before the Young Warriors play Mozambique at 3 p.m. Now, ahead of the tournament, ZIFA President Nqobile Magwizi has thrown his weight behind the Under-17 side that will be doing business against 11 other nations.
I think this is a big milestone for ZIFA. I think this is the first time we are hosting the Under-17 COSAFA tournament. First time. And we are of course ticking our KPIs as an executive committee. We have high expectations as Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans always want to do things well. Our expectations are to do well even in this tournament. Yes, we acknowledge that maybe the preparations may have started late, but it does not lower our expectations. We believe that our youngsters are well prepared. All the resources required have been availed. The coaches know what the assignment is.
Now, Magwizi is confident that the Young Warriors will deliver as the whole nation will be looking up to them and believes the tournament presents the association with a chance to test their resolve.
These are the boys that are going to carry the hopes of Zimbabwe. And I am confident that they are going to give a good account of themselves. And by the way, our expectations are very high. Now, I know this may put pressure on the youngsters, but the whole nation is behind them. So with the support of the whole nation, I believe that they are going to give a good account of themselves and make each one of us proud. This is an appropriate platform to test our leadership, to test our processes as an association, to test our resolve to be able to transform football for Zimbabweans and of course for the enjoyment of our stakeholders.
Now, marathon runner Isaac Mpofu is set to make his 4th appearance at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan. He represented Zimbabwe in 2019, in 2022, and also in 2023 at the Global Meet. And speaking to Elena Mhlanga after his final training session at the University of Zimbabwe on Tuesday, Mpofu said he is focusing on running a good time in Tokyo. Now, his personal best is 2 hours, 6 minutes, 48 seconds posted in 2022 at the Valencia Marathon in Spain.
Mostly we focused on time. We are focused on time. So you can see if we run under 2:10, I think we can actually get a good position there. Yeah, mostly it's all about consistent in training, doing the right things at the right time. If you can look.
And that's a wrap on Newsplus this Wednesday evening. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Wazanai Sansole. Good night.